Oh my God.
What's up, guys? Jordan Dominique of Material XYZ here. And today I'm going to be talking a little bit about my personal journey through and what got me into each phase of fashion and style that I've come into over the years. For many people, I know that finding your style is a very long, dynamic journey. Sometimes in ways that we may be proud of, sometimes in ways that we may not be so proud of, but that's fine. We've all had our, questionable phases and things like that. But through the analysis, of my own past and just personally thinking about what's gotten me to where I am today in my taste in style and things like that, it made me really wonder, to draw the actual linear connection of how it developed and how I got the taste to not only want to wear what I want to wear, but also to want to create fashion and go that extra step further. So that's what this video is about. Make sure that if you're new to this video that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because this we talk about music and fashion and everything in between those two realms where they come into contact with one another. So if you appreciate content of that realm, then this is going to be a good channel for you. Just starting out here, but there's plenty more to come. So make sure that you subscribe, and if you like the video, like, and feel free to comment down below about anything that I discuss here. But getting right into it, I really didn't. This is gonna take some transparency, of course, into why people like fashion and appreciate nice things in general. I want to have some introspection, and also remember, at the end of the day, this is all about my personal journey, and these are all my personal opinions. So if anybody disagrees with anything that I say, you can feel free to comment down below, and please, let's have an open discussion about it. But just know that I don't think that anything that I'm saying is the end all be all at the end of the day about any of this. So getting right into it, the first time that I remember actually caring about the clothes that I was wearing, honestly, probably comes from a time when I was being made fun of in elementary school or something like that. Because to be, upfront, I wasn't raised in a household where at least the people who were influencing me cared about fashion. And I say that because in my immediate family, my mom and my dad didn't care about fashion. My brother did, but he wasn't really around for when I was old enough to be cognitive of processing my surroundings. He was young, of course he left an impression subconsciously, but yeah, we're 15 years apart, so he went off to the military, and that was around the time that I was old at 5, so I was old enough to actually know what was going on and stuff like that. He was out of the picture. My parents could care less about style or fashion or anything, which is cool. To each his own, that's not their thing. But they dressed me however. They didn't dress me bad. I never came out the house looking crazy. I was clean and stuff like that. But it wasn't like I wasn't on brands, stuff like that. When I started going to a school, it's a predominantly black school where I was from. I was from Clinton, Maryland. I went to Grace Brethren Christian School from I don't know. It was elementary to 6th grade minus the 1st grade. That year I went to, I forgot what the name of the school was, Prince George's County Public School, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, predominantly black school, so when I would go there, everybody, you know how they are, and it's a private school, so, it's affluent. If you know anything about PG County, Maryland, you know that that's the most affluent population of black people in the United States of America. So not only are you dealing with, the culture of people who, we have a flashy way about us. They're dealing with people who are the children of some of the more wealthy black people in the United States of America going to this private school. Things like that. I don't know how I ended up there. when I think back on how my parents got me into these places and thinking about their budgets and stuff, I don't know. They definitely invested a lot into me financially, which is cool. And I think it benefited as far as my intelligence and stuff. But that's neither here nor there either. But went to the school with people who, you know, were well dressed and stuff like that because that's what their parents were into, you know. So kids are ruthless. I think that goes without saying. So they were definitely tore me up about, you know, how I was dressing when I came there, you know. And I was like, I didn't even know what was wrong. I was like, they were like, yo, your clothes don't even match. Like, what are you doing? What are those shoes? Like, I was like, I don't know what these shoes are. I didn't know I was supposed to know. They got Spider-Man on them. They're like, yeah, but bro, things messed up, bro. You wearing a yellow shirt with red Spider-Man shoes. Anyways, all of that happened. And that was a rude awakening in a way. Like, I never really thought about any of that before. So I was like, oh, true. And, I felt bad, of course. Like, everybody, you'll feel bad if you get made fun of. But only for a little while. And then after that, I just kind of got into it a little bit. Like, I started asking my dad about stuff like that. Oh, and then another big factor in this time was that my brother came home from the military. Like, he did his years, and then he got out of there. He came home by, like, what, it had to at least be like 22 or something like that. So I was, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. I'm not good at math. But I was somewhere in that range. And I was, I had to be like 8, 9. He came back, you know, still the same dude that he was. Like, you know, into dressing well, nice shoes, J's, and everything like that. I had gone through the experience that I did at school where I was learning to work it better, like, you know what I'm saying, wear clothes in a better way and you know, things like that, but it still wasn't, I still never had a pair of Jordans or anything. I had like Nikes, things like that. You know, I just knew to pay more attention when I would go shopping with my dad, like in the outlets. Like it would transition from my parents buying my clothes to me for like, I remember from an early age, I wanted to take control of the process of not only dressing myself, but also purchase, like school clothes shopping was important to me. And I was heavily in control of what was going on. I mean, of course, the budgeting was all him. I'm not, you know, I wasn't a brat or anything like that, but what I was allowed to pick, I was meticulous about. A little impatient, but still. That was when I learned how to put it on, you know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, so middle school came. That's basically the foundation of what made me start caring about those kind of things. Now I'll start telling you about like what actually transitioned me into my own personal style, because at that time it was just like learning what clothes were and stuff like that in general. So I wouldn't say I still had style. I learned matching, color blocking, and things like that, and then brands at first, but it wasn't fully me, because in the community of Black people and also in biracial communities, and this is going to lead into the next phase that I'm talking about, you always experience the,
oh my God, what a disaster.
how I'll say it, like, you'll always experience things that you can't do because of who you are, things that you can't do. It's almost like reverse cultural appropriation, because it's not really about the, like, culture. It's not cultures that we haven't been involved in for a long time, but it's just like things that are like, it's like things that people say aren't Black. You know, it's not like it's associated to another culture, because everybody else can do it, but there are things in the Black community and stuff like that that they say just aren't Black. You know, we know that. I mean, we know how they say about if you dress white or you talk white or things like that, and when you really think, I'm not gonna get into all of that, but it's just like there's not a whole lot that is specifically exclusive to the white culture or anything, and really none of these things should be limiting factors to take from cultures, as long as you're not appropriating, as long as you're appreciating, and as long as you're doing it in a tasteful manner, of course, like not making fun of or degrading any culture. That shouldn't be something that stands in your way in general. But unfortunately, in our young minds and in the minds of people, like, that wasn't just a young people thing. That seemed to be a mentality of the world that we were coming up in at that time. People started to change when we saw people like Kanye, like certain figures in the hip hop community, to name a few: Kanye West, the Pharrell Williams, and Lil Wayne, who were not only into fashion and they had that street sensibility to them, but then they expanded that into these other cultures that they had personally been interested in. For Kanye, it was high fashion. For Pharrell Williams and Lil Wayne, it was that skateboarding culture that they adopted, and that was super cool. Especially because at that time, you know, Tony Hawk Pro Skater was like the most popular game, hands down. I mean, besides like Madden, but Madden's always popular. Like, that's neither here nor there. I'm talking about like video games, like nerds, cool guys, street dudes. Everybody was playing Tony Hawk. So that's like something that, you know, that was something that was influencing the influencers, you would say. And that trickled down to me. I always liked skateboarding, once again, because of Tony Hawk and stuff like that too. So, you know, and creating your own skater, getting to mess around with what they were wearing and stuff like that, that was super cool to me. So that, you know, came. We were afraid to wear Vans in elementary. I remember I had, you know, a group of friends. We were all black. You know, I was the white boy out of the group because I'm half white. And like, we were all, you know, we would wear Nikes and Jordans and stuff like that, and Rockaware and Sean John and stuff, you know, and like, it's like, if you were wearing Vans or some crazy rock star stuff with skulls on it, we were like, whoa, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Next thing you're gonna do, you're gonna go to a rock and roll concert, bro? What are you doing? But like, we used to go hard on that stuff, you know? So like, I remember one day, my friend came to school with some Vans on. Or no. This dude got transferred to our school, and he wore Vans. He was black, and he wore Vans. We were like, what's he doing? What is that? The sacrilege. And then, yeah. And then one of our other friends got real tight with him. And he was like, you know what? I like Vans. I'm wearing Vans too. And I was low key like, yo, those are kind of clean, you know? But I wasn't scared to admit it, bro, because you gotta understand where I'm coming from. I just got kind of fashionable. I'm not gonna go out there and take no leaps and bounds. I was like, whoa, listen, y'all. I was like, those are wow. I was like, oh, you white. I was like, at first I was like, I'm not the white boy anymore.
What a disaster.
But, just playing. But anyways, so they had they had Vans on and stuff like that, and I low-key wanted some, I'm not gonna lie. But I was like, held off on that. Moved down to Florida, right? That was like 2006, so that was when Wayne was like ascending. Let's just say Wayne was ascending. And then Kanye was at the tippy top. So like, fashion became everything in the hip hop world at this time. We seen the Gino Green Globals, where everything got ultra flashy. We seen the Vapes, the Anicha, like everything got so elevated. The Evisu, Jean, like, you know, everything was so colorful and hyper candy. It looked like candy, so it appealed to the youth too in that way. Like, fashion became very youth-friendly and youth-focused through the streetwear culture that had been developed over the years, unbeknownst to us at the time, because we were literally children just experiencing it firsthand. But that affected us, and it affected me greatly. So in middle school, I come down to Florida, where the demographic is a lot more leaned towards the other side, at least in my specific area that I was in. I'm not saying that's for all of Florida. So where I was at, in middle school, we were just like 7th and 8th grade. Now, they were, Vans. Everybody had Vans. Everybody was skaters, surfer dude. Everybody had the like the flip hair. You know the hair where it's like the like dudes had the bangs, but it was like all around. It looked like a bowl, but it had like the flip at the end. Like that's what all the dudes had, and they all played like baseball. And I don't even know. Like this was stuff I had never seen before, bro. Like none of the dudes in my none of the dudes in my school were doing any of that stuff. But anyways, that's what they was doing. And with that, the clothes changed. The clothes were different. There was Hollister and Abercrombie and American Eagle was like the things that people were wearing down here, and like I didn't know anything about that. But there was like the urban kids. I just said urban. Anyways, the black kids, the cultural, the ethnic kids. Let's say it like that. Were they were wearing South Pole, Rockwear, and EJ Babe, probably fake, like reps, obviously replicas, but that's what they were doing. So, there was still a place for that, but I personally was like looking, and I was like, oh, so I can get away with doing more here. Okay. And then and it was moving to a new place. So it's like, they don't even know fully. I have my closet, my wardrobe that I brought with me, but it's like, I'm back to school shopping. This is time to take some chances and do some things. So I didn't for the first year. Nah, I kept it. I had to show myself for the first year. 7th grade, I came down. I was like, you just had to be who you were. You was a new kid. You had to prove yourself. But 8th grade was significant. Like I said, Wayne, this was when Wayne was like, boy, it was happening. 2008. So you already know. And then I was 2007, 2008. I was back into skateboarding at the time. I had just gone to skate shop, so I was seeing all these skateboarding brands and these shoes and the clothes and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this is where I wanna, get some clothes to transition and stuff. I ain't had the money for all that yet, but I was still getting more toward that style of clothes, like JCPenney and Ross and whatever. So I was switching more towards skateboarding type of clothes, and I bought a few things. And I remember I came to school. My school was a public school, so you had to wear uniforms. But there were every so often, I don't know if it was Fridays or like if we behaved ourselves, but every so often they would let us wear our regular clothes to school. And there was a day that I wore an outfit where I had it's like an Alien Workshop Rob Dyrdek like shirt or something like that, and then I had skinny jeans, bro. This is the first time that I wore skinny jeans in public, and I will not remember. And thinking back on it, it's funny how much of a big deal that was, but oh man, it was a big deal. So first time I was wearing those, and then I had Iron Maiden bands. I don't think I had even worn those to school yet. But if I had, it wasn't with the ensemble that people had seen now. So even then, it was a big shocker to see that. The whole outfit. It was a terrible outfit, by the way. I'll maybe try it again, but I'll probably like tuck my shirt in and do it stuff. But I was doing it though. I had crew jeans, I had Alien Workshop shirt, and then Iron Maiden Killers album Vans. I want those shoes back more than a lot of things in my life. But anyways, so yeah, I wore that to school, and that was just like, my friends were like, yo, what is this boy doing, bro? Because like they were still in Jerbo's and stuff like that. Red Monkeys, all that kind of stuff. Fake ones, reps, because we are children. We are not affording $900 jeans. All my stuff was authentic. Now that I'm thinking back on it, it was streetwear, so it was real stuff. These dudes buying fake Red Monkeys from the China shop, telling me I don't got swag, but that's okay. That's okay. Onward, we press. Still, getting scrutinized for that. But Wayne makes a real significant turn in my transition from middle school to high school, where he starts going more towards this rock and roll, skateboard stuff, and sees that he's getting more embraced for that, and he starts wearing skinny jeans and like the Lollipop Video Carter 3 era is coming, y'all. And with that being said, I'm getting older. I'm more confident in myself. I'm starting to understand that there's a difference between what I'm doing and what I'm seeing, and what other people are doing and what they're seeing in those realms. And I know that they're not paying attention to the things that I'm doing, and I'm trying to be different. I had different sets of friends and stuff like that too. I had, my friends over, at school and things like that, that were more hip-hop, ethnic. And it's weird that it's got to separate itself like that, but that's just like the way the world works, from what I've come to understand in the ways that I walked, especially down here in Florida. But then I have, I went to a Methodist church, and there was a youth group there, and most of the kids that I hung out with there were like goth. They're like goth kids. It's funny, we were all goth for the youth group. So I would, be in between those two worlds and stuff like that, and that influenced me. But I understood that there was more. That was when I was starting to understand that there were more ways in the world to be than just one way, which is very important because that helped develop me later. I was, skateboarding, doing drums, chilling with all kind of different people. This when I started, like I said, I grew up, and it's weird to say this, but it's like I grew up chilling mostly around black people. We had one white friend, his name was Josh, and that was it. And then, but when I moved to Florida, it was a transition, but it started to become, there was more white people, the only other kid in my neighborhood who moved in was white, so he was, who I was chilling with, him and his little brother. And then, just getting more into that, meeting more people through that avenue.
Oh my
so
God, what a disaster.
What I was wearing earlier, the skateboarding and all those things, started to become more the style anyways, even back in the ethnic and in the black culture, because of what Wayne and all them were doing, is what I'm trying to say. So it was all slowly and surely becoming more and more acceptable. We see people like Kid Cudi come in the picture. Lupe was in that before, but Lupe got shut down really, really hard. That's why you see what happened to him. Like, he was there. He was a real pioneer. He was a real martyr. Like, he went up on a cross for that. But like, he pushed the needle, but he died. He went hard because of that. Like, But anyway, now the style's getting more and more acceptable, and I've already been fully transitioning in that, because I felt like I saw that it was the future that I was going towards anyways. Kid Cudi's, Wiz Khalifa's, Yellow Wolf, for whatever that is, all those people, the Lil B's and everything start coming out, and this is just like Odd Future. All these people start coming out, and we're seeing urban people going, and I was like, finally, some validation as to what I've been doing, for a while, and hoping was like, not hoping was the right move, but I was like hoping that one day it would just be like more acceptable to be able to dress the way that I was trying to, and just not have to. It's weird that there's so much politics in that. So it finally gets more and more acceptable, which allows me to kind of break out of my realm to focus more on, other things and stuff like that. So that's what got me into like, just studying more fashion icons and influences, people like, like Prince, and even David Bowie, people like, I don't know, I'm not trying to name off a whole list of names or anything like that, but that's when I started opening my eyes to more people who were outside of cultures that even I was interested in, to see what I could take from what they've contributed, and started a developmental phase and that kind of stuff, like even trying to dress. That's when I really started to understand that you can actually change the way that people see you with the way that you're dressing. And I would go from one day wanting to dress like a rock star, for like a better term, to one day wanting to dress like, just like a hood dude, or like, I'm not gonna say urban, I'm not gonna say black person, but like, baggy baggy fit Air Force One, you know what I'm saying, that kind of style. And then one day I might want to dress like a preppy dude with a polo shirt and, you know what I'm saying, the nice slacks or something, and maybe some loafers, things like that. And started to focus on curating looks and building cohesive outfits together, and that actually shapes me, and I'm more of a fluid person who can move in between those kind of things. And it's about creating that tastefully, like, because you can't just put whatever in a closet. It's harder to do that than anything, because that requires a lot of understanding of what goes together and things like that, to a level of you have to work with your budget. I don't have the highest budget in the world, even now, and especially not back then. I was broke as a joke when I was doing all this stuff. So, you know, that was a big factor in determining it. But with all that still considered, making things work, and then understanding and really experimenting. Some days maybe I want to dress up and wear a collar shirt. I also went through a lot of like financially devastating things at the time that happened, like evictions and things when I was still a teenager. So I like lost a lot of my wardrobe. And a big factor that came into that was secondhand clothes, where I didn't necessarily get to choose the brand. It was whatever was available, but I did get to choose what I wore very freely and had a wide selection. So I was like, you know, and that was, like I said, when that was happening, like when I was living at a homeless shelter, actually getting, like, going to a thrift shop because they gave me credits, not because I had any money, but because they gave me credits to spend at the homeless shelter for clothes. I was like making the best of it at that time. So I went in there and, you know, like I said, I futured it out. Like I was wearing whatever I wanted to wear. You know, I had nobody to impress at the time anyways. So it was like shorts way above my knees and like, you know, like Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that. Very thrifty, looked very thrifty, like bohemian, like looked like a little hipster. And that's what I did for, you know, so many years. And that's what I claim to be my style. And that influenced me for a long time too. Applying my old sensibilities of the different, you know, styles and looks and things like that, mixing with, honestly, a budget or lack thereof, is what cultivated a lot of that and developed a lot of what I'm into now. And I say now because I feel like that was for a big block that I was just like thrift or, you know, whatever, because I went through a very, very bad financial bout for a long time. Coming out of that though, I, you know, still had all my sensibility. I got into a better job. I was in a better place and everything like that. So I was like, started looking more. And this was also when I got the entrepreneurial bug and realized that I can actually start a business myself. So that's what I was focusing on trying to do by myself with the little bit of money that I had from my job and stuff like that, to some degrees of success. Got my name out there, did what I had to do. And that, of course, you know, understanding that I can make clothes now that I want to was very, very big. And then that changed my mentality on what I buy, because if I can make whatever I want, I was like, well, I'm going to be very picky about what I'm buying from other people. It's like, why am I paying for something that is not fully what I want if I can make something that is fully what I want? So that was my next elevation in fashion sensibility, where I started paying attention to brands and how they operate, and why people like certain brands and why people don't like certain brands, and why certain things are hot and why certain things are not hot, and starting to develop my own philosophies on what I am going to accept and what I think is cool and what I think is desirable in fashion, and starting to move less away from the general idea of objectivity in those areas. That was very beneficial to me, and I feel like I kind of was fortunate enough to develop that early on. That's like, at least as far as the masses go, it's like you have the people who push these kind of things, push the needle on those. And you have people who are early adapters. I think that's where I fall into, because I don't think I'm necessarily on that other edge just yet because of my level of influence. But anyways, and then you have the people who are behind that, who are like, that's the masses who actually follow the trend and understand things once it's very blatantly obvious that that is the sign of the times. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because I'm that in a lot of realms that I don't pay attention to, like hardware, things like that, sports, things like that. I don't know anything about that. But fashion's my thing, so that's what I'm up to date on. And with that being said, that's kind of where the culture went, where it was to more like people understood that there was less of an objectivity, even up to the time that we're in now, where it's like there were so many fashion trends went in and out so fast. It was like exploding so fast. It's like they didn't really ever die. It's just another one became so much hotter. Like the flames were burning so bright that they outburned each other. We were like, wait, but that never went like not hot. Like it never like went away. It just like this other thing just enveloped us in its energy, in its aura. And then we started to understand that, oh wait, you mean that none of this stuff ever really went away? None of it ever really went away. We're still wearing stuff that's influenced from the 70s, 80s, 90s. I can go further back, but I think I'm making a point. 2000s, 10s, up to today, the modern things that we're wearing. And now we're in this time where everybody's just wearing whatever they want to wear, and they're not just wearing one type of thing that they want to wear. They may wear one thing one day and wear something else completely different another day. And that's super duper cool. And that's exactly what I think is needed, in all honesty, in the culture of fashion. So I like the direction that we're moving in. That being said, I have a closet full of stuff that is just from all different types of genres of style. I would feel like, and some days I like to put them together. Some days it's hits, some days it's missed, but experimentation is something that's important with fashion. So yeah, I don't think that fashion is something that is going to be viewed as such an objective thing as we continue to move on, or as far as what is in and out of style. I think that we're definitely going to be moving towards a type of attitude where it's going to be more acceptable for you to wear whatever it is that you're feeling at the moment. We're going to be transitioning from day to day, week to week, month to month, season to season. You can even see that in the brands and the way that they have been designing. They've been drastically changing from season to season. Meme culture has affected a lot of fashion too. That's been like, and that's been all about just what is popularized or eye-catching. Statement pieces are becoming a lot more popular and almost acceptable to wear outside, even outside of New York and LA to a certain degree, which I've never been to either one of those places. So I would know, because it's like, I'm from Tampa, Florida, so seeing things that I would have never thought I was going to see on people a couple years ago being worn out in public and things like that, it's like, okay, well, I'm starting to get more of a Tokyo mentality towards fashion, as to where each person is in their own modular realm of what they design as far as their own style, which is pretty interesting. I'm sorry that I'm just kind of going with the stream of consciousness. Sometimes I'll be having these kind of videos because I just like to have these conversations and I don't really have too many people personally who I know who would want to have these conversations with me. So I figure I get my satisfaction of the lack of these conversations from the internet and different YouTube channels, so why not put my own 2 cents in there? And so yeah, with that said, I think I'm going to conclude the video, and I appreciate anybody who stuck it out this long. I know it's been a lot, and if you've liked what you have heard, then definitely chime in, because this is really more so about like liking or not liking or anything like that, because I know I hit a lot of different subjects because this was about my personal fashion journey and what has influenced that. Fashion is definitely influenced and shaped from a lot of outside factors that are not necessarily clothes. So if you have anything to say about any of that, though, if you've experienced something similar, if you experienced anything different, if you think what I'm saying is silly or don't understand anything, feel free to comment down below, please, because I want to continue. I want this to be a dialogue. It doesn't have to be a monologue. It just is, because I have a camera rolling right now and you're not here with me. But we're all connected. This is a community. This is the planet. This is Earth, man. So, yeah. Definitely like and subscribe. Jordan Dominique from Material XYZ signing out. Peace out, yo.